Kiké Hernández, we knew that the Padres were a finalist. According to Ken Rosenthal, Dennis Lin contributed to that piece in The Athletic the other day. Padres, Giants, Twins, Angels were the 4 finalists for Kiké Hernández. But as things may happen sometimes in baseball, it changed. The Dodgers, they end up sending Manuel Margot, former Padre, to the Minnesota Twins. Doesn't look like Michael A. Taylor's going back to the Twins because Margot can play center. Byron Buxton, the Twins are hoping that Byron Buxton can be healthy. I'm hoping too because I love seeing Buxton play, but I'm not so sure that they should, you know, guarantee and or have that be the plan. So they acquire Manny Margot. He can play center. And that opened up a spot for Kiké Hernández. And the Dodgers were not a finalist, according to that Athletic report the other day, but it opened up a spot. So Kiké, obviously former Dodger, loved by the fan base. He loves being with the Dodgers. The Dodgers love him. He signs there for, I think, $4 million. And now the Padres, they're still waiting, or maybe we're, as us as a fan base, we're waiting for an outfield addition, and maybe it won't come. I still think at least one more addition is going to come. I think that Jurickson Profar they want as a utility bench bat. I think that they want, as of now, Jackson Merrill to be starting opening day in the outfield somewhere, and then probably have a center fielder other than Jose Azocar. I'm not gonna sit. I'm not at the point where I'm like Jose Azocar. I don't think you deserve to be starting center field. There's still ways to go in spring training. Excuse me, but I think that there's better power options, and it would be nice to have another center field option because it's not a guarantee that Jacob Marcy is going to have a great spring training. And even if he does, maybe it's still better to at least have the insurance, or at least you have the option to send Marcy somewhere, double A, triple A, get some reps there and not have to force it up at the big league level, you know? So Michael A. Taylor, he's still out there. Kiké Hernández, would it have been nice for the Padres to sign him for on a $4 million deal? Yeah, he can play infield, he can play outfield. Seems like a energy guy, spark plug guy, kind of like Jurickson Profar, kind of like Ha-Seong Kim, someone like that. I'm not saying like Kiké Hernández is at the level right now of Ha-Seong Kim. I don't think that is the case. He's coming off of injury, coming off of a couple of bad years, but in terms of Padres budget, cheap, 1 year, can play a lot of different positions, could play center field if you needed him to. I would have liked that. Now, he was a right-handed hitter, not a lefty, but Michael A. Taylor is also a right-handed hitter, not a left-handed hitter. So we'll see. We've seen some minor league deals happen. This is an outfield, but Garrett Cooper signed a minor league spring training invite deal, I believe, with the Chicago Cubs. Jesse Winker, I believe, was a minor league deal where he signed. So it's interesting. There's these veteran guys that aren't getting the guaranteed major league deals because those organizations around baseball are like, no, we'll give him a minor league deal. We'll put him on the roster and make it a major league deal if our prospect, if the young guy that we believe in doesn't end up panning out this spring or there's an injury. But we're not going to give him that major league deal. And we'll see if he accepts the minor league deal because maybe there's not a whole lot of interest. He wants a job. He wants to go prove himself. And there we go. And so, yeah. So maybe the Padres go that route with one of these free agents that are out there. I'm not saying Michael A. Taylor is going to be a minor league deal. He's not. But maybe he is asking for too much. Maybe, I forget who his agent is, but maybe that agent is waiting for some of the other big free agents to come off the board. Where Cody Bellinger, he already came off the board going back to the Chicago Cubs. Scott Boras seems like he took a L on that one, wanted a long-term deal for Belly, and it ended up being 3 years, and there's opt-outs after this season and next season. So not that great for Scott Boras there. It's high on the AAV for Bellinger, but it's not long-term. It's not like a 6-year, $160 million deal or anything like that. So maybe the Padres are going to have to wait a little bit longer because maybe Michael A. Taylor has some teams that didn't get Bellinger that are more interested in Michael A. Taylor in terms of money than the Padres are willing to give him. But I wonder where Michael A. Taylor is going to go. But for the Padres right now, they are not like, oh man, we have to go get a major league outfielder in for agency. It doesn't seem like they feel like they have to go do that. Because they could have given Kiké Hernández more than $4 million, or at least offered him that. I don't think that's been reported that they offered him more than $4 million. And maybe he ended up just closing off the Padres, and maybe he was down to some of those other finalists before the Dodgers trade Margot, and then he ends up just going back to the Dodgers. But right now, it seems like they're good with what the group of outfielders that they have. If there's a minor league deal that comes around because someone doesn't get what they want, then they hopefully, I hope that they will take advantage of that option. But right now, I think they like what they're seeing out of Jackson Merrill, and they have him in left field starting on opening day. Or maybe they have him in center, although he's playing left field every day. So I think right now you have Merrill in left, they have Zokar in center field, and they have Tatis in right with Profar on the bench and either Oscar Mercado or Jacob Marcy, someone like that. I don't know about Terso Ornelas. And those are your 4 or 5 outfielders that you have. I saw in the UT that Brett Sullivan, Padres are thinking about carrying 3 catchers on the roster because they don't have many left-handed hitters. Brett Sullivan qualifies as that. He came up playing some different positions other than catcher, so maybe that's what they do. And he is open to that, obviously, because he wants to be in the big leagues, and he is he just wants to do whatever he can to help the team, obviously. So love that. But that's obviously not that doesn't sound like an amazing option, I assume, to a lot of Padres fans. So this outfield situation, it's something to keep an eye on. How does Jackson Merrill do the rest of this spring? Jacob Marcy, Graham Pauley, he's more focusing on the infield. I don't think he's going to make the opening day roster, but we'll see. There's still time to go in spring. Although it's not like they have a full month because March 13th, I believe, is the date when they get on that plane to go to Korea. Now, there are guys that they can bring on the plane to Korea that don't make the roster. And then there's some time after that where maybe some guys can prove themselves, and then maybe they can change up the home opener roster, and maybe that's different from the Korea roster. But we'll see. Mike Schilt, the coaching staff, AJ Preller, the front office, they've got a lot of decisions to make, obviously. There's a lot of spots up for grabs, but it makes for an interesting spring training. I'm not surprised, just to kind of round it up here with the Kiké talk, I'm not surprised that he doesn't end up here with the Padres. I'm not surprised he ends up going to the Dodgers. Maybe I'm a little surprised because the Dodgers weren't one of the finalists, but I'm not surprised he did not come to the Padres. I thought that even if you throw the Dodgers out, I thought the Twins might be a little bit more desperate for Kiké because Buxton, he gets hurt. Maybe Michael A. Taylor's asking for too much money. That made sense. I thought the Angels made sense because of their infield situation. I thought the Giants made sense because their outfield and infield situation. Brandon Crawford ends up signing with the St. Louis Cardinals. So I just thought that there were better spots for Kiké Hernandez, and maybe some teams were willing to pay more money than the Padres would be willing to pay. I don't know what if the Padres made an offer to Kiké and how much money that was, but he ends up going to the Dodgers there. So maybe the Padres are good with the guys that they have in this camp, or they're still looking. Trades are possible as well, obviously.